The other thing I wanted to talk about was best practices. And I'll just tell you two really quick stories that I think might give you a flavor of it. The course I was teaching was at New Jersey City University, and the students are real strivers there. Usually they're trying to balance between a couple of jobs, a family, and coming to class is hard for them, making it to class and then struggling through the coursework. And one of the things that I've noticed, I've been there 10 years, is how engaged the students became, really just on fire. Once they realized that this course was about being able to feel something different, engage with other students, and really be there fully, it was amazing. And the students, if I could just talk about positive education for a second. Instead of putting the emphasis on what the papers were going to be and getting EPA style right and all the usual academic things, we put the emphasis on trying to understand feelings and how we have positive interventions and positive feelings and resilience, and just really talking about applying these aspects. And I have to tell you, it was stunning. In my 30 years of teaching, I've never had a class that was so on fire. It was rare to have one or two people missing. Usually we had the full class every semester. The last day, all but 3 people showed up because they really just wanted to be there for celebrating. It was amazing. But more importantly, were the quality of the papers. It was stunning to me how good they did. Absolutely amazing, and they were very eager. So they were eating up the textbook, doing great on the quizzes, and then really knocking the ball out of the park with the papers. So there's something about full engagement and enjoying the positive interventions that I think is important. And the thing I'll say about that, there were 2 things that happened that were extraordinary. One is this course was offered during the time that the East Coast got slammed with Superstorm Sandy. And I opened up a resilience log, and that's something I'm going to encourage you to do, is have a shell, a web shell, so that the students can talk to one another, so that there's a proprietary email so that they can find one another quickly. And we had discussion boards, and I posted articles for them to read and topics, that kind of thing. But when Sandy hit, I opened up a resilience log. And they were able to talk about things they witnessed, heard on the news, things they took part in. And what happened is we took this really traumatic and horrific storm that affected everybody in our area and started to embed in it a way of thinking about resilience and how people coped and celebrating that. And in the log, people talked about spending quality time with their family. That was found time. They talked about how the neighborhood really never came together quite as well as it did during the storm, and how people were so generous with their time and their efforts, and that people who were spared any real damage had this profound sense of altruism. So here the students were able to write about the very things we were talking about. The second thing was, at the end of that class was I do something, one of my students called it positivity, where we have to give a gift. So the week before, there's a grab bag of names, and students choose a name, and then there's time during that class for you to really get to know that person. Now it's the end of the semester, and I've done positive introductions and a lot of gratitude visits, virtual gratitude visits actually, and all these kinds of things to get the students to work together. So by that time in the semester, they really know one another, but now you've selected somebody and there's an in-depth interview where you learn a little bit more about them. It's a question and answer format. And then the limit of the gift is $1. You can't spend more than $1, and it has to be basically a symbolic gift. And I'll just tell you about one, but it's emblematic of the kind of engagement that the students have. This woman comes in with a little Tonka toy, and I know those are more than $1. And the first thing she said was, "Don't worry, I stole it from my nephew." So She got a good laugh from the class on that. And she gave this gift to another woman in the class who had been talking about the fact that she's graduating, lamented that this class wasn't earlier in her career, and then said that when she's graduating, she's been saving for 4 years, and she's going to take the summer off and go cross country by car. And she had been talking about it in class and planning it and thinking about it. And the woman who got her and drew her name and brought this gift in said, you know what, I can't go with you. I haven't planned like you have, but you've inspired me. I'm going to make my own plan down the road. But when you go, I want to be with you in some way. And this car is a symbol that I'd like you to take with you on your trip. So you'll remember this class, and you'll remember me, and realize how you've influenced us and me with this savoring and planning of your trip. So it was really heartwarming. And the other one, they cried, they hugged, all like that. And the other woman took the car and she said, I'm putting it on my dashboard, and it will be there from now until I get back from that trip, and I'm going to think about you the entire time. So that's just one gift, but all of them had that quality. All of them had that quality.